welcome to Norwood Digest. I know it looks a little different than normal, but you'll see in a moment why we're sitting here. But we have a great show. This is Norwood Community Media's news magazine show, and we're going to do a Coakley Middle School update, among other things. But joining me now is Ernie Pachakowski, and you all know him from town meeting and elsewhere, but did you know he does a podcast? And he does it from right here, right in this studio. So welcome, Ernie.
Welcome, Jack. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So this is kind of a new podcast for us, and so tell us a little bit about it, and just tell us a little bit about it.
All right, it's called Ernie's Jukebox, and it's just something I always want to do. I love music, and I really love the music we grew up with. And when I was working, a buddy of mine and I would always say, we talk music all the time. So we got to throw up an antenna sometime. We got to put this useless information out to the world. And then after I retired, and I thought about, well, just do a podcast. And I didn't know how to go about it. And talked to Jack Tolman and Megan and Brian up here. And they says, well, we can do that up there. And I said, really? They go, yeah, we can set it up. And I says, well, what about, copyright issues and things like that? And they go, no, it's a community media. It's not going out on the world, and you're not taking advertising or anything, so it's fine. So we set it up, and I had some great ideas. I sat down with Jack and Brian, went over my ideas, and I just play music.
Yeah. So what's an average, typical podcast? Is it just you and the music?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's basically the first one I did was like before the invasion. I'll do a theme. The first one was like before the invasion, that sweet spot from 1960 to 64, before the Beatles and the Stones hit America. We were still playing Ricky Nelson and Bobby Vee and the Everly Brothers and that kind of music. And then I did the first British invasion, which was kind of the Beatles' early years, the Stones, the Herman's Hermits, Dave Clark 5. We just did 3 in a row. We did one for Christmas. We did all Christmas, rock and roll Christmas. We did a Valentine's Day love song, some of the best love songs, Jack, you'll ever want to hear, of rock and roll. And we just did an Irish one for St. Patty's Day.
Wow, that's pretty good.
We got one in the works right now with Brian. It's called Rock and Roll Roots, which is going back to the 50s music, Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, thing. So I'm just having fun with it. And I talk a little bit about the song or the artist, kind of throw a factoid or two out there, and I'm just having fun, I'm a kid.
So what's your favorite era?
Oh, definitely the 60s. Definitely, we grew up in the 60s, and to me, the 60s music, 60s, early 70s, through my college years, the 60s was such a diversified music era. You had the beginning where everything was, we're coming out of the Eisenhower era, and, everybody were baby boomers and all of that, and we're listening to Ricky Nelson and all that, and then when the Beatles hit, that was it.
Right.
That changed everything, and you got that first wave of the British, and folk music was big in the early '60s, and I really got into folk music as a kid, and then the later '60s things went a little darker in rock and roll. Then you got into a lot of the protest music and the anti-war, social injustice kind of music. Then you had the beach sound, you had the West Coast,
right.
The Beach Boys and Jan and Dean and all those. Then you got into the late 60s, early 70s, and you got the second British invasion, Led Zeppelin and the Who were keep going, but they were really coming in their own. So I just love it. And I love the 50s too, actually.
Now where did the Kinks fit in on all that? Is they the part of the first?
First and second.
Yeah,
they kind of
straddled it.
The Kinks, the Who, and Rolling Stones kind of continued on and evolved through. Unfortunately, the Beatles, 8 years together, 6 really.
I know.
And it's amazing what they did, and they were all in their 20s when they broke up. And
it's funny you hit one of my favorite bands, because my older sister had their greatest hits. It was Dave Clark 5.
Mine too, Jack. Mine too.
And they made some great music.
Oh, I still listen to them. It's funny growing up. I have an older sister, and for birthdays and Christmas, I would buy her the latest Beatles album, and she would buy me the latest Dave Clark 5 album.
That's funny.
And Dave Clark 5 was great. And they were a band that loved each other. Those guys never had that interfighting, or they split the money 5 ways, and they stayed friends, and they never had those.
And so, belaboring the Dave Clark Five, but
That's okay.
Dave Clark was actually the drummer, right?
Dave was the drummer.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was not the lead singer, or was
No,
he?
Mike Smith.
Okay.
Mike Smith was the organ player, was the lead singer. But yeah.
And so I'm just thinking here of an idea for a future one would be Boston bands.
Well, I have a whole list.
Yeah.
There's some great Boston
Yeah.
bands. You know, going back to the late '60s. Orpheus, you know, was one of my favorite bands.
I had that.
That was my wedding song.
Oh yeah.
Can't find the time.
Can't find the time. That was actually that was my theme for my prom.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then you get into the early, the Cars and the Aerosmith and
Well, and there's one that people don't think of, Andy Pratt.
Andy Pratt. That's right.
Yeah, and one of my favorite songs of all time, "Avenging Annie."
Yeah.
And I just love the piano in that. And,
Norman Greenbaum.
Oh yeah, I forgot
From
he was from
Somerville,
there.
Medford. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them, and so that's
what's his name? Wasn't Dion from Dion and the
no,
Belmonts?
no. Dion the Belmonts. Oh, he was from Brooklyn.
Was he
He is. I'll give you a real quick thing on Dion. He, Runaround Sue and all that late '50s. Dion is still putting out great music. He just did a blues album, which is phenomenal. And he is still playing, putting out great music. And no, he was a Brooklyn kid.
There's somebody from that. It was Freddie Boom Boom Cannon.
Freddie Boom Boom
That's
Cannon from Revere, Massachusetts.
That's who I'm thinking of then.
That's right, Palisades Park.
Yeah. But it's funny. So when I was in high school, we actually had a band, and we modeled ourselves after Sha Na Na. So we played a lot of Dion's, that
Sure,
era.
the doo-wop stuff.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
I love
too.
doo-wop.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, so how do I listen?
Okay, so Brian will put it on NCM occasionally, on the regular rotation, the podcasts. But you can go to the Norwood Community Media website, and if you go to Community on Demand, click on Community on Demand, and if they don't come right up, if you put Ernie in the search bar, all my podcasts will come up. And I did a movie on Norwood too that's on there too. I'll put a plug in for
not?
that. Got a lot of hits. Jackson got a lot of hits.
Do they film your podcast as well, or
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's just a
record.
listen.
No, like I said, Jack, face for radio.
Yeah, I hear that. I used to hear that from my dad all the time. Well, anyway, this is great. When's the next one? When are you going to drop the next one, as they say?
Brian's got it. It's going to be Rock and Roll Roots, and it's going to be hits like going back to Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Carl Perkins, all the old Sun Records guys, and it's funny that to appreciate a lot of that music, we have to go to England.
Yeah.
The British bands, the early British bands, Beatles, Stones, they all covered that stuff, and they all loved that stuff, and they recorded it, and we're listening to Chuck Berry, but we're listening to the Beatles do it, and then the American kids found that music.
That might be a good one too, just all covers.
Oh yeah. And there's some great ones. There's some great ones. Some of the covers are better than a lot of them are better than the originals.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen. Thanks for being with us. And
appreciate it.
I'm going to start tuning in myself.
You got
because
it.
It's all the stuff I like. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, and for me, music kind of ended in like 1975, 76, unfortunately.
When did Boston come out? Right about then, right?
Oh yeah, the most overplayed record. Great record.
Yeah.
But ZLX played that thing to death. And it was like, please play something. Deep cuts, go to the album and find something else on it. That's the one thing today, before we leave, I feel the kids today miss out on is, the streaming and all of this stuff. It's great. You can get all kinds of music. At a snap of a push of a button, you can get any music you want. But to sit and listen to an album on a turntable,
right,
which I still have, and to read the liner notes of an album, I mean, that was... or the first time you put headphones on and you listen to Led Zeppelin and that music just goes around your head. I mean, I think kids today miss out on that.
They don't get to, I bet you my kids have never just heard the second side of Abbey Road all in a row.
No, or a whole album. And, it's too bad. But hey, it's new generation.
That's right. All right. Well, again, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me. Last thing. I'm going to put a plug in. I have a Facebook page, Ernie's Jukebox. Join Ernie's Jukebox Facebook page, all music. We post concert pictures, music clips, talk about our favorite concerts we went to, things like that. No politics, not just music. So.
I hear, well, a lot of politics in music.
Well, unfortunately there is, yeah.
Well, again,
always was.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to go to the latest Coakley Middle School construction update, but this time we have a surprise special guest. Welcome back, and we're up here at the Coakley Middle School. I'm with Bethany King, who's the project manager for WT Rich, and it's been a long time for us to not have been together.
It has.
I missed you so much.
I know, 2 whole months.
But the whole like so much has happened.
Yes.
So tell us what's been going on for really February and March.
Yeah, we've been flying. As everyone knows from the past few updates, we're going C, then B, then A. So what we're standing here is Zone C. So this is the most furthest along, if you will. A is falling behind in the back. A, we've poured 3 of the 4 slabs. So there's 1 slab on grade and an A left, and actually 1 slab in the gym left. But other than that, a lot of the concrete slabs have been poured. We, as you can see here, are starting to enclose. So on this side of the building, you can see we're wrapped. There's actual board up. There's air vapor barrier up. That's the blue material you see. There's windows in, so the building is tight. On the other side, you can see we're actually framing and starting to put that yellow board, which is called sheathing up. So we're working our way west.
And when will we have a roof on?
You have a roof on.
The whole on all of it
not
now?
100%,
Okay.
but on this zone you have a roof on. They're in B and moving into, they're actually in A now. So we're making ourselves tight as we move west.
Wow. And so we'll have to see some of that stuff later.
Yeah, we'll go inside.
But we're still on schedule?
Yeah, still on schedule.
Sorry, it asked
One
that
of these
question.
months, hopefully, you'll never actually get the update that we are not on schedule.
So what, actually I'll save that for Luke, what's going to happen next.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, it's amazing. It's just amazing. And are all these windows going to open or no?
Some of them are what they call operable, so you can open them. Like for this one, for example, the left half bottom there will open. Once the windows go in, the other big update of what's been happening is inside the building. From a framing perspective, we're actually going to start drywalling now in one of the floors because we got the in-wall inspections done. So in-wall, they have all the wiring, they have a bunch of mechanical, electrical, plumbing work, all of the rough-in work, they call it, that's basically inside the walls and above the ceilings. That's all actively ongoing in there, including the interior framing. So they're flying in there, but they can't really do a lot of that until we're tight. So that's why we're chasing ourselves out.
And that's the thing with where these episodes become so much more important once it's sealed because the public can't see inside.
Yep, we'll show you.
And so this is going to be the only shot for them to do that. So I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you, but
it's not me, it's everyone in there. I don't do much. It's all these guys and girls out here in the field.
so when will one of these sections be complete?
For the exterior, looking at it, you have some metal panels in some what's called fiber cement, which are the panels that go out here. I would say July-ish, so June some of the material's getting delivered. So this area we're looking at here is actually the mock-up for the exterior wall, so this will be the first place you see it. And then this is what's called storefront windows. You also have curtain wall windows on the front of the building with some blue metal panels, and those are going up in the Zone B on the front there, so you'll see that in July, August as well.
So what's the difference between a storefront and a curtain wall? Is curtain wall like like it's the whole wall?
Yeah, so typically in this example, the storefronts are much smaller. The curtain wall is a self-supporting system, and some of the big openings you have, especially in the front of the building here and in the gym, those are what are your curtain wall unitized systems.
Okay, well, it seems like a lot has happened.
Yeah, we're moving.
And we'll be back in 1 second with Luke, and he's going to tell us what's up next.
Perfect.
Thank you.
If you're looking for a new place to grab food, some new entertainment, or just curious to see what cool places the town of Norwood has, tune into the Community Channel to see what Norwood has in store. Our Living Local segments chronicle the many different and entertaining spots in Norwood, from your favorite smoothie bowl at the juice bar to a new set of specs at Modern Eyes. Norwood's got something for everyone.
And as promised, we're back with Luca Pone from Vertex. He's the owner's project manager.
Yes.
It's hard to say sometimes.
Yes.
I forgot to ask Bethany this. So on average, how many people are on site working?
Sure, typical day is about 60 to 70 workers. When we're pouring concrete, that crew brings about another 15 workers on their own, so up to the 75, 80 on those days. But average day right now, 60 to 70 workers.
Okay, so we've seen a lot of what's happened since we were together last, but what's coming up?
Sure, well right now we're standing in the ground floor of Area C. This collection of rooms we're standing in will be some support spaces for the gymnasium behind us, whether it's locker rooms, storage rooms, things like that. Framing has started in Area C, Area B, and has begun in Area A, finally the furthest section down from us. And framing will continue for the next couple weeks in all buildings. Mechanical rough has started in Area C on the second, third, fourth floors. In-wall rough of those systems is ongoing on those floors. We received sign-off last week from the local building inspectors on the second floor in Area C, so they're going to start drywalling those floors this week. And the push in Area A right now, A building, is to pour the slab on grade in that building. That'll be the last major concrete pour in the A building, and that is scheduled for next week.
Awesome. Now, so forgive us at home if you're hearing all this noise in the background, but that's what happens when you're on a construction site. So they don't just shut down and watch us, they keep working, which I don't know why, because we're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, you are, right?
But anyway.
Try and get that one the next one.
So what else is going on?
A lot. As Bethany mentioned, the biggest push right now is to get the building weather tight, so installing the facade, the curtain wall, the storefront windows, and the AVB on the exterior. And then, as the shot we were just standing in front of, we're getting the brick going on the east elevation at that mock-up. And that will continue working its way around the building.
Okay. Well, thanks for being with us again. And we had a very special guest. Brian was with us today, and I thought this was going to be like his first time here. But we walked up everywhere we went. Everyone said, "Hey, Brian, how you doing?" So
He's a regular, yeah.
He's the big celebrity here.
He's a regular.
Brian, come on in and say hello to everybody. Come on. All right, so look at the camera and say hello to everybody. How are these guys doing? Are they doing a good job building this? Yes?
When it's going to be done.
And he wants to know when it's going to be done. He's keeping everybody on task and on schedule. You need to keep your hat on. And it's going to be done in the summer of 2025, opening in September of 2025, if everything goes according to Hoyle. So that's going to wrap it up from here, and we'll be back with more Digest.
Lights Camera Summer is back on July 22nd through the 25th and August 5th through the 8th from 9 a.m. to noon. If you are a Norwood resident entering grade 6, 7, or 8 and you want to learn a bit about the broadcast television world, be sure to sign up for Norwood Community Media's video workshop, Lights Camera Summer. We'll give you some training in our studio and control room, you'll be able to get some experience interviewing on camera, and on the last day we'll be watching the final cut of what we produced. If you have any questions, concerns, or just want to sign up for the workshop, you can send an email to NCM Station Manager Megan Corbett at megan@norwoodcommunitymedia.org. We hope to see you this summer.
Well, that was a special construction update with our friend Brian Richardson on it. It was so great to see him, be able to go inside the building with us, and he had a heck of a time. But you know what? Everybody on NCM had a better time than he did. That was certainly great. And so now we're going to move on. We have a real treat. We have the school resource officer, Officer Rooney, with us. Welcome to Norwood Digest.
Thank you for having me.
So, John, tell us, how long have you been on the force? What have you been doing up to this time? Where you from? Let's start with where you're from.
All right. Grew up in Norwood. Actually, I'm a Norwood boy. Went to Norwood High School, graduated class of 95, old building.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So this is, kids these days, they don't realize how lucky they are to have this type of facility. But grew up in Norwood And I've been on the force since August 31st, 2015. So I'm coming up on 9 years now.
Wow. When did you become the resource officer?
I was officially named school resource officer this past January, so January of 24. I had been filling in on a part-time basis for the prior SRO who was out injured. And I have been officially a school resource officer for a couple of years. I was certified as a school resource officer, but I was working patrol and then just going to schools as part of my shift.
And what made you want to do this?
You know what's interesting is the first time I ever met a Norwood police officer, when I was in high school, an officer came and spoke to my law class. And that was the first time I ever saw a police officer inside of a school. And I thought what a great kind of idea and combination that was, to have an officer who was just down to earth, speaking to students just as a normal human being, not someone who's pulling you over or chasing you through the woods.
Yeah.
Not that was ever me. But and that put a real human side to it. And that's really kind of how once I became a police officer, how I kind of geared my attention towards schools.
So, as part of your shift, you said you used to visit some of the schools. What was that like, especially the elementary?
You know, the elementary visits were a blast. Those kids love to see you, no matter what you're doing. They come in, and the teachers love having us there because it gives them a little bit of a breather, because the kids just come and attack us, and
Yeah.
we hand out baseball cards with our information on it, and the kids think it's the greatest thing. And you show up to recess, and they want to challenge you to every sport that is possible. But then there are times that these kids are having a really rough day or having some trouble at home, and the teachers or the counselors just are looking for that extra hand, or they need someone who can help talk to the parents. And that's where each school has a designated officer to take care of that. And I did that with the Callahan School for a number of years.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. And so now you're up here. It's got to be a lot different than dealing with elementary school.
A lot different. The kids aren't as excited to see me up at the high school level as they are at the elementary level, which I understand. It would be a little alarming, I think, sometimes. But that's what we're trying to ease. We're trying to get the students here, get used to seeing a police officer, know that they can interact with a police officer. Hopefully your first interaction with a police officer isn't a negative one out on the street somewhere. And that's, I think, the whole idea behind being a school resource officer kind of came about.
Yeah, you hope to take the wariness away from it, right?
Right, yeah. And like I said, I didn't meet a police officer until I was 18 years old, a senior in high school. And now these kids get to meet them in the elementary level,
right.
And you get to come up, and we do a youth academy every summer. So some of these kids, some of the kids here I've seen at youth academies over the past number of years, and it's great to see them grow up and still want to say hi to you after all these years.
So how would you describe the mission
of an SRO?
Yeah.
So you want to be, it's kind of a triangle, if you want to put it that way: police officer, educator, and mentor. You try to be all three. And we're not in school to be a disciplinarian. I'm not walking through the halls and yelling at kids to get to class. And I want to be someone that they can reach out to. And, a lot of kids have trouble. What I've noticed is they'll go to a counselor first or guidance first, and then the guidance will approach me, and then I can, talk to a student on the side. So the mission for me is to be visible as possible in as many places as I can. So I'm in the lunchroom for an hour and a half. All three lunches I'm standing there. I try to be at the front of the school during drop-offs and dismissals, and just try to let the kids know that they see a familiar face. That way, if they ever need someone, they know me and they can approach me.
Yeah, and it's kind of a hard balance for those three things, right?
It is. It's very tough, because as much as I'm not here for discipline, I do have to still be a police officer
right.
at times, and I can't just let crimes just go. I still have
right.
to do my job. But again, my goal is to not. I tell kids all the time, I'm not here to get you in trouble. I'm here to help you.
Right.
And I tell parents that a lot too, and I think a lot of parents have some comfort in that, knowing that I'm trying to help. You don't want to start a kid off down the wrong path. And
right.
I don't want kids to have to go to court. I don't want kids to have to do these things. but I want to be able to educate them through the process and
Yeah.
get them through alternatives.
And you being successful is them being successful.
Exactly. And if I can teach one kid one thing and make sure that he can go through life and fall back on that, that's a great story. But sometimes we don't get to hear those stories. But I just have to tell myself that I am making a difference.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, you're right about that. I didn't think of it till you just said that. Your biggest success is nobody knows about except for you and that individual.
Exactly. Or if that student doesn't commit any crimes, or he remembers that if he gets pulled over, he remembers that police officers are human beings as well, and they're actually there to educate them on the rules of the road. They're not there to yell, And if I can help build that foundation, and they can carry that for the rest of their lives, it's not just me that it helps. It helps every police officer that they'll ever encounter.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you miss about doing the patrols?
I do, and I'll tell you the biggest adjustment from being out on the road all the time to being inside the school full time is that when you're out on the road, you're free.
Yeah.
If you're not actively on a call, you're just out on patrol, you can really kind of go and do whatever you need to do and be proactive. But here I'm just in one building. That was a big adjustment for me, but I got used to it and I'm enjoying myself. I think I found a good rhythm.
Good. And how were you received by the teachers?
I think the teachers are okay with me.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of times we've had meetings with teachers, and I've been a part of it, and I was able to speak. And I've had a couple of teachers speak to me afterwards saying, "Thank you. What you said made sense, and I feel better about things now that you told me this." So
Yeah, I think it's a learning curve for them, like for the students.
Exactly, and you just have to be a human being. It's not days of RoboCop anymore. Right. And as long as you have a human side and you can relate to people, I think teachers, so adults down to children, I think they're going to gravitate towards that, and I think everyone is appreciative once you show your human side.
Great. So we wish you continued success with all that. Is
Thank
there
you.
anything that you wanted to, let people know that might be tuning in?
Just tuning in. I'm always here. I'm always available. If anyone ever needs anything, students, teachers, I have parents calling me all the time, and they ask me not to tell their students that they're calling for advice. So just know that, we're more than police officers. We're more than just these people here to get you in trouble. We're just here to help.
Okay, well, great. Again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Continued success.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, and now we're going to be back with Swan Thang, the owner of Sky Spa, who's got a couple of interesting things going on.
Top of the morning to you.
And the rest of the day to you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Kelleher, here with Dee Carney. We are from the Norwood Senior Center, here to promote our trip going to Ireland. The trip will be on October 23rd through November 1st. If you'd please reach me at 781-762-1201, extension 4, to sign up. Slots are going quick. Take it away, Dee.
So, join us for a pint of the black stuff in Dublin's fair city and travel on to medieval Kilkenny. Let's visit Waterford, the Crystal Museum, and ramble the harbour, the locks and the streams. Then on to Killarney Castle and the Ring of Kerry, and arrive at the majesty of the cliffs of Moher. A new day brings us to Limerick the Lady, and we'll see the sunset in Galway City. Lay your head down in King's Court, Kilbeggan, and toast your last evening in Cabra Castle. Slán go fóill.
Toodaloo, see you soon.
Welcome back to Norwood Digest, and with me now is our old friend, Swan Thang, the owner of Sky Spa. Swan, so good to see you again.
So good to see you, Jack.
And you have a special friend with you today.
Chili.
Chili is Swan's answer to Mustang Sally. It's Chili's the what's the word I'm looking for?
Therapy dog.
There you go. The therapy dog for the Sky Spa. If I ever go in for a pedicure, I'll have Chili sitting on my lap.
Be requested.
So, a couple of things we want to talk about. Thank you so much for what you did for the kids for the prom.
Thank you for having me.
That just had it. So, tell us a little bit about what happened there.
We just pre-make a lot of nails design for the kids to prepare for the prom. Busy day. It's busy business everywhere, and I know a lot of girls might have to be left out because they're so busy with sports and practice, and they don't have enough time to come into the salon and have it professionally done. But I thought of an idea to have them pre-made for them, so it's something to get them in and out quicker for their schedules. Because on top of their hair appointments and all that stuff too.
Well, that was a great idea, and I'm so glad that you did it.
Thank you.
But now I want to talk about something that is kind of a cool thing in my book. You recently went to Italy representing the United States in, what's it called? Inlay eyelashes.
Yes.
Okay, I got it right. Okay. So what's an inlay eyelash, first of all?
So inlay eyelashes come from Italy. It's all produced in Italy, and that's where it came from, Milan. And they just be introducing over to the U.S. It's for healthy lashes growth. And it's nothing artificial extension lashes. It's all natural lashes. And sorry,
That's okay.
It's starting to get introduced to the U.S. and it's very different from other products. It has a lot of protein for lashes to growth, where women have a lot of problem with.
So what do they do?
It's considered as a lash lift serum growth for the fillers.
So you apply it, or how do you apply it, I guess is the word?
Yes, we applied it with this special silicone to suit anybody's lashes, and with the whole surface itself, it helped your lashes to grow healthier.
Okay, so why were you there in Italy?
It's such an honor to be there. It's a huge seminar. They just over 8 years of experience, newer technology into making the lashes even thicker than it was. Right now we're launching into 25.9 thickness of the lashes. So we're all there to enjoy the whole experience, they witness the whole thing to be completed.
And so not everybody can just apply this. You got to be certified, right?
Correct.
And so what's that process to get certified?
You have to be a trainer, master trainer to actually be there, and you have to take a lot of courses and classes from Inlay to actually, touch the product.
And were you able to do it from here, or did you have to go to Italy to be certified?
I got a chance to do it from here from a different trainer, yes.
Okay, good.
And then I continue my education and be the master trainer for the company.
Oh, so you're a trainer now too?
I am.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't get that. So tell me about the whole, it was a great seminar over in Milan, which I've never been to, which is the fashion capital of Italy, if not the world.
Yes.
So how was that?
It was an amazing experience. I feel such an honor to be invited to go there and to meet the global artists there as well from all over the world, and to meet the owner of the whole Inlay herself, and feel like a woman's power.
Good. Well, that's good.
Yes.
And so how recent was that?
Just a few weeks ago.
Oh, really? So
yes.
that recent. Okay.
Yes.
And
right before Easter.
Oh, wow. And so now you're training folks.
Yes.
And obviously you offer this service at your place.
Yes.
And is it expensive?
Not at all. It's a very average service because it could last up to 2 months. Only one-time applications, and then if women they see the results, they always love to come back because they do see results of their lashes going thicker. Because as a woman, we always have that confidence inside about our eyes, and that's really built a woman's confidence.
Yeah. Now, is it wrong to ask you if you have that?
Yes.
It's wrong to ask that. Okay, I won't. Or are you answering yes, you have it? We'll let that go. Major faux pas by me. What else is going on with you? Anything?
Well, we have an upcoming training in Vegas.
Okay.
So I'm going to Vegas for another training course in the end of June.
Wow, you are busy. That's what keeps you so young, being so busy. All right, well, thank you. Is there anything else I missed on this?
No, but I just want to send a message to our young people. Live your dreams and chase your dreams. It will come true.
From your lips to God's ears. Well, thanks again for being with us. It's always great to see you.
Thank you so much, Jack, for having me.
And that wraps up another edition of Norwood Digest. We thank the great crew here at Norwood Community Media. We thank all of our wonderful guests. But mostly we thank you at home for allowing us into your living rooms. Good day and keep safe.